Hi everyone, this is Alchemical Transmissions. Today I'm going to be talking about the current energies for the next couple weeks regarding the Spring Equinox and what we're going to be going through. So the first message I got was it was going to be a light harvest. And the way that I saw this was that we were going to be bringing in more light frequency bands. And this is going to be happening due to the healing that we're going to be going through. I was getting the feeling that this healing as well was being facilitated by our guardian races and all the higher dimensional support that wants to assist us with this. What I'm getting is this is going to be fairly intense if you guys haven't been feeling the energies already. Personally, I have for about a week and a half now. It's been extremely intense, the healing that's been coming up. But we're being asked to become aware of the stagnant pain and everything out of alignment with self. So that's one thing I've been experiencing is a lot of deep wounds that I'd been kind of suppressing have been coming up. And I can really feel that this is sort of being brought on by the amount of light that's coming onto the planet right now. Because a lot of these things I thought I'd already healed, but they're coming back with a lot more clarity, and it's being shown how deep these wounds actually are, and a lot of it is from past lives as well. But basically the new light that we're bringing in currently, we can't really sustain it without clearing out these really dense energies. So if you haven't been experiencing that, I have a feeling this is probably going to go on for a couple more weeks, probably through the eclipse. And how I was seeing this was a lot like chronic pain in the body that you've come to live with and that you've come to accept over time. This is the same thing with these denser energies. We've become so accustomed to them, especially if we've been carrying them for many lives now, that we don't even notice how deep the wounding actually is. And so with these new frequency bands being us having to acclimate to them, all that stuff is sort of getting brought up. And if you've already been through a lot of shadow work, this has had this same feeling. It's like things that you may have thought you've worked through. It's like you're peeling back a new layer to those things that you might not have seen before. But I was getting that this is really getting to the root of it. So this is sort of the full healing of those wounds that maybe you thought you've already worked through, but are starting to come up at a deeper level now. So basically we're going to be able to realize where in our light bodies this is occurring. We're going to be able to pinpoint these wounds and this energy a lot clearer now. And that the healing, it's going to be much clearer. So this is happening because of the saturation of Ascension energy upgrades. And this is especially for people who have been on an Ascension journey for a while now. We're really being asked to anchor in these higher frequency light bands for people who are just waking up now, or people who haven't been on the journey as long. We're trying to anchor in those higher frequencies to help facilitate the ascension process for them. So that came in pretty strongly for me. This isn't just about healing, and a lot of energetic portals and gateways on certain dates, a lot of times they have a theme. This felt a little different in that a lot of the more evolved souls right now are being asked to hold these frequencies, and they're kind of being asked to take on like a bigger load of healing than normal. I was just getting that a lot of these races, these higher dimensional consciousnesses that are helping with the ascension progress on our planet, really wanted these energies to come through. They really wanted us to hold them. The people who have already been dealing with a lot of this, they're really asking for us to help, honestly, because our planet's really in a big shift right now. I mean, it always is, but right now it's more of a big shift in a large amount of the consciousness on the planet is starting to actually wake up and start their ascension journey, which is great news. It's not going to be this small portion of Earth like it's been for a while. So you're being asked to hold these very intense energies at this time. not just for light workers, but for those who are waking up and for those who will wake up. This sort of segues into the next topic of this message, which they were communicating to me as a question of, have you felt the integration? The main message here was that the darkness is starting to be consumed by the light, and that shift has happened. And I have noticed this. This has felt fairly recent to me, actually. It sort of feels like we are in the aftermath of a one battle now. And this brought up the concept of New Earth, right? This has been talked about a lot in the spiritual community lately. And what I was getting is that there's a large misconception about New Earth. The misconception being that there's going to be a big division between heaven and hell on Earth, right? And when I say heaven and hell, I mean like you have the people who have decided to attune to these higher consciousness energies, and they have to go through their own healing process to get there. And then you have, the other half or whatever that are deciding to stay in these lower dense frequencies and stray away from their connection with Source and God. And that was sort of the idea that I see presented in a lot of these spiritual videos, is that there's going to be this separation and this huge division, and we'll just sort of live side by side, but in completely different mismatched frequencies. And that's not what I was getting. Like, there will be a degree of that, but it's more as if you had a dark room and there was just like a little nightlight on for a very long time. And that nightlight was sort of like the consciousness on Earth and Earth's level of consciousness. And it's as if that nightlight has slowly been growing over thousands and thousands of years. And now it's like a sun is in that room, and there's going to be like slowly all of the darkness and shadows in that room have been getting less and less and less. This is how I was seeing the consciousness and our existence on Earth, is that it's almost as if the frequencies are just climbing and climbing, and the more they climb, the harder it is for those denser energies that are in opposition to those frequencies to exist here. So it's not like that room is going to be half light, half shadow. It's more like the light is getting so bright that the shadows can only take up little sort of cracks in the room or crevices. Like, it's not going to be this sort of half and half live side by side. Like, our planet has ascended and it's going to keep growing in consciousness, and I was getting that those denser energies just can't exist on a large scale here anymore, and over time it's going to get less and less. Humanity has made large steps towards total ascension recently. So if you've been experiencing these different types of energies, just understand that you've been integrating these upgrades, and that's the reason for their intensity. Another thing that came through is that many people that you may not thought would have had a spiritual awakening, and they may have had their energy really stagnant for a while, that their consciousness will very possibly be expanding, and a lot of people that you thought were going to remain the same are actually going to start waking up. So the idea of there being like a coexisting heaven and hell type of division on the planet isn't what I was receiving. It's more going to be a gradual transition to a complete overhaul of systems on planet Earth. Now, I understand that this goes against what you see just in your day-to-day, like mainstream social media, just regular media, what maybe a lot of people are talking about and stuff. All of that is just manufactured division from the darker forces that are against this ascension and this waking up happening. But the truth is that humanity is actually, we're more banded together than we have been in a very, very long time, and we have woken up on a much larger scale than we have been in a very long time, and we're going to continue to do so And like I said, unfortunately, the forces against this sort of ascension and this consciousness expansion are really doing everything they can to convince humanity that we're in this doomed sort of apocalyptic state, and that everything is going to go wrong, and that we have not achieved what we have on a spiritual level, and that it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. But that's not what's energetically happening. And that sort of manufactured division can only sustain itself for so long before the consciousness expansion really completely weeds all of that stuff out. Another thing that I got was that we are reclaiming our divine birthright as angelic representations of God. So this is how I perceive the human soul, is that we all are fragmented parts of God, intentional fragments of God. We are all on our own journeys, but we are all still connected and making our way back to that source I am present. But we carry with us our individuality now. And I've really just felt this huge wave of consciousness like waking up on the planet the last month or so, maybe like 2 months. It's a really beautiful energy. So our light body has been being flooded with these solar transmissions. A lot of the energy that we receive for upgrades and clearing out of any darker energies that we've been holding on to, or that have been creating that separation between us and our full embodied light, a lot of it is being cleared out by our connection with the sun. A lot of it is energetic solar transmissions. And I was getting this especially because it's such a deep cleansing. The transmissions from the sun have been a really big part of that. And it's going to continue for the next couple weeks. So the hard part has been over for a little while now. And something that came through in part of this sort of responsibility that's being gifted to a lot of us is that to take solace in knowing that your contribution to this mass awakening is helping your fellow soul, and to remember that we all are one. Also, the new frequencies that you're able to hold, that we're integrating, it's actually helping Earth integrate them as well. And when Earth is able to hold these frequencies, it transmits to all of the inhabitants. So everyone starts to feel these shifts, even if they aren't awake yet. And this is part of how that awakening on a bigger scale is happening, is we bring down and hold those energies, it transmits to Gaia, and then through Gaia it's able to expand to the rest of the earth. This makes it harder and harder for those darker energies to actually exist here. And this translates to either an embracement of these energies and people embracing their natural divinity, or a doubling down of those darker energies. And in the case of the latter, reincarnation on this planet will not be able to continue existing as an option for people who have not shifted their energies from those lower places and really made that change. Because as Earth's light and her inhabitants' light starts to grow and set sort of a new standard frequency, it's just going to be impossible to kind of incarnate onto the planet with really dense, dark, low energies anymore. It's not going to be possible. The last thing I was getting was that it's important for all light workers at this time to nurture your frequency. You do not want to be indulging with things that are out of alignment with these new raised energies that you're anchoring in, and to also heal whatever presents itself due to these energies, which From my understanding, these are going to kind of be the roots of things you might have dealt with for a while that have been very difficult to deal with. It's going to be peeling back the next layer of that and really getting to the root of it. And it's going to be some pretty profound healing. So if you guys are looking for more personalized help, I offer light body healing sessions. I also offer a spiritual coaching package. And lastly, I do soul purifications. These services are all different. The light body healing sessions focus on healing the actual light body and where it needs energy work. The spiritual coaching package focuses on tuning in with your guides and answering a few questions you might have. And the soul purification is the deepest work that focuses on actually removing any lower forces, interference that might be causing you trouble. If you're interested in any of these services, my information is below, along with a description of each service. I appreciate you all tuning in today, and I hope that you can navigate these energies well, and that they don't give you too much trouble, and to try to enjoy the growth that will be coming from this. So take care, and I will see you guys next time.